Sadly, life's took a bit of a thing this week, but here's my contribution.
Contribution.
Whoa. Ever had one of those moments where you just think, how the hell did I get here? What the hell happened to me? I was enjoying gaming in my free time. I had a wizard new PC. Gigabit internet to my home. Straight up gigabit internet. And now look. Someone I know is one-upping me on the internet. Although, thinking about it, before all this, I had some awesome game-filled moments. Hello, editor. Yeah, that was my out. I didn't always look like a tired, hollow, resting bitch-face old man. Cast your eyes on that younger specimen of an Adonis right there. And don't be alarmed if your undercrack has become a moist flannel. Young fella, you should try doing YouTube. Hell yeah. Maybe I should. And I did. You're welcome, internet. Now, as you can see, for 1993, this game looks amazing. I've added to the pile on YouTube. Ooh! See that little happy young lad? That's me, baby. And this is where I start my gaming journey. Being almost addicted to Space Invaders on the Radafin home console. It's like the poor man's Atari, but that didn't matter. Gaming was gaming and I had Space Invaders. And trust me, it's all going to end up okay. Stay with me. Apparently I'm contracted to mention Sean here just because he's had the most amount of team shirt sales. Thank you, fanboys.
Hello, YouTube.
What the hell is this? This is Chris. I'm a bit confused. I thought this was a video about my gaming history. Oh, right, I forgot to actually introduce us. Welcome to Slotted In There. And this is my gaming history. Continuing on from the Radafin, the Sinclair ZX Spectrum was the first home computer I got to use. And that's because eldest sibling used it for babysitting duties. And might I add, I enjoyed his style of looking after me. Many hours were sunk into Horace Goes Skiing, Manic Miner, and Chucky Egg. But that was eventually left behind when middle sibling got a Toshiba MSX. I casually hijacked access to this by getting him in trouble so I could play on it. Chack and Pop, Penguin Adventure, and F1 Spirit were my favourite games on this system. And it was awesome not having to wait for tapes to load, as the MSX had a cartridge slot. This literally was a game changer. Having two older siblings actually worked out well for me. I got access to expensive tech when my parents thought I was too young to have anything like this for myself. It was also like having two versions of Pinky, if I'm honest. I think my parents realised after some time how I was manipulating situations to access the computers. Although I'm not sure if they were feeling sorry for my siblings, or they were sick and tired of my antics. But the next Christmas, Santa gifted me something special.
Nice.
The only time anyone saw me over that holiday period was for meals. However, my excitement for this eventually wore away, reducing me to tears and tantrums. I must have had every cursed one ever manufactured. Data corder failures, keys not working, a blown power unit. It felt like nearly every month my dad was taking me back to the store to get it replaced. F*** you, Comet. And after the fourth time, Comet agreed to replace this with an Amstrad CPC 464, and with the colour monitor too. Now this was an upgrade in so many ways. It freed up my TV, there was more colours on screen, it was fantastic. It also led to some quality time with the grandparents too. My granddad loved angle ball. And my nana, well, Oh Mummy and Xanagrams, or X-Anagrams, were her games of choice. These were great times. The Sega Master System entered our household. The games on either cartridge or card were more expensive, but instant loading. More colours on screen, and the sounds were out of this world. The graphics were so much clearer, bigger. The arcade experience in your home was emerging. Operation Wolf, Afterburner, Outrun, and Shinobi, to name just some of the quality games that you didn't have to go to the arcade to play. And the catalogue of games this system had? Outstanding. Something for everyone. The 90s started, and so did the race for gaming dominance and innovation. The Mega Drive, or Genesis, was my next gaming pleasure.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
A massive leap from 8-bit to 16-bit gaming. Living a good life on Streets of Rage, Altered Beast, and Golden Axe. And over the years in the Sega camp, I almost completed the Tower of Power. I just missed the cherry on top, which was the 32X. But I sacrificed that to briefly walk down Nintendo Street with the Super Nintendo. Mario Kart, Super Mario All-Stars, and Street Fighter 2 Turbo are amongst the games that I deeply enjoyed on this system. I could go on forever. But I won't, because with saving pocket money, doing odd jobs for cash and taking up a part-time job, I moved over to the Commodore Amiga. Games like Cannon Fodder, Syndicate, Pinball Dreams, Another World, Lotus Turbo Challenge, and Skid Marks. They all looked and played and sounded so much better than what a console could do. The only downside was being back to load screens, and now also disc swaps, but meh. Then a couple of years later, a new dominant figure appeared on the horizon. A console as powerful as two others that had been before it, but didn't really take off. Harnessing the power of the CD-ROM, memory card storage, and a fairly reasonable pricing, this was the dawn of the PlayStation. 3D power that seemed to be beyond belief. A games lineup that was unprecedented. Destruction Derby, Ridge Racer, Crash Bandicoot. It was, however, only going to be a gaming superiority for a few years, when my friend introduced me to games on the PC. Doom, Carmageddon, Grand Prix 2, Command & Conquer. These were the beginning of my move into PC gaming, and that was incredible. Well, incredible until games required more powerful hardware to run. Quake and Unreal were fine examples of this. Newer games in their series needed specific minimum memory graphics cards, and then a Voodoo card, and then a Voodoo 2, more RAM. This started to get very expensive, as it seemed like every 6 to 8 months a new game would release and your PC would need to be better. And then Microsoft released the Xbox. Better than consoles that went before it, and a near reach to graphical capabilities at the time of the PC. Online connectivity and gaming, although at a cost, but it was almost flawless. Splinter Cell, Halo Combat Evolved and Halo 2, Forza Motorsport, Jet Set Radio Future, and Fable. These were awesome. Everything just worked and you didn't need to add any additional hardware, but game prices were higher. Other than that, gaming was great again. I stayed Team Green for the next 2 generations. The 360 gave me Gears of War, Halo 3, with a plethora of other titles I sank myself into. The Kinect was great fun too. I had some great evenings with friends and family, bowling, whitewater rafting, and even cutting fruit. And then the mess of the Xbox One happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Xbox One.
A rather confused and overpriced home system that didn't know what it wanted to be or do.
TV experience. TV. Watch TV. TV. TV and TV remote.
TV.
Sports.
Sport television.
The Kinect Sense had to come with it, but yet didn't really get any software support. Eventually, some backward compatibility for previous gen Xbox games came around. This Xbox generation was just okay. So I treated myself. I bought the PS4, Until Dawn, Spider-Man, and The Last of Us were amazing games, but I had two issues with this system. The home screen I found a bit dysfunctional and badly organised, and the controller wasn't hand-friendly for me, but I think that's simply because I became more in tune with the Microsoft dashboard and ergonomic controller. Getting to the mid-gen cycle of these consoles, I eventually turned my back on them. I moved back over to the PC gaming side of things, ignoring the Xbox Series consoles and the PS5. I could play all of those offerings in higher fidelity with better frame rates and not have the high cost that goes with it. Not to mention access to more gaming storefronts like Steam, GOG and Epic. It also meant that I could be one of the boys that brings our YouTube channel to you. And that brings me to the end of my gaming history. It's been a journey, and if you've made it this far, I'd like to thank you for staying around to the conclusion. If you'd like to leave a comment below about your gaming history or have something to say about one of the systems I mentioned, please do so, as we enjoy reading and replying to the comments. Thanks again for watching, take care, and we hope you'll join us in the next one. Bye for now.